Hello, hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. In the last episode, we completed the game. We have killed Corypheus, watched the main credits, and the epilogue scene. All that is left is to wrap up a few little bits and bobs. All of the companions do have stuff to say, now that Corypheus is dead. We have a few war table missions left to complete, so I figured it'd be nice to have a kind of wrap-up episode. Because that way we can start the descent at the beginning of Monday's episode rather than at the end of today. So I figured this would be nice. God, episode 265. I knew this Let's Play was going to be long when I started it. I didn't think it was going to be this long, though. Follow Venatori map. The scouts located the cache the Venatori sought. It was long abandoned and had become home to several ancient demons, dispatched with great effort. Once it was done, however, the cache yielded treasures not seen in this world for ages. Liliana. Good stuff. And thank you for the money. And alliances reaching ever upward. We received word from Lady Eustace Richelieu, who presumes more and more to speak as an authority in these affairs. She is also quick to use us and we, Josephine. Lady Richelieu's letter follows. A strategic demand, Inquisitor. The Tybalts concede that you are within your rights to ask that they bear the weight of bargaining with Lord de Rosier. The frivolous marriage between Celeste Tybalt and a son of the Leander family, a name of little bearing, has been wisely called off in favour of a proper matchmaking. One that will profit, I have a tickle in my throat and no amount of drinking or coughing will shift it, so I do apologise there. Let's go from here. The frivolous marriage between Celeste Tybalt and a son of the Leander family, a name of little bearing, has been wisely called off in favour of a proper matchmaking. One that will profit players and arbiters both. In your gracious service, Lady Eustace Richelieu. And we actually get an amulet of power for that. Thank you. And finally, I do believe this should be the last war table mission for the main game. Alliances from the heart. The conflict among the nobles of the Orlesian capital has come to a head. Lady Richelieu has been busy promoting an arranged marriage to solidify the positions of the current players, with considerable status reserved for her as matchmaker. The object is the pairing of Lord de Rosier with Lady Tybalt's daughter Celeste. All who have status enough to speak seem to be in agreement, but we have received a number of letters regarding the matter. From Lady Valise Tybalt. My daughter will dutifully comply, but I know her feeling. She will speak to no one. I would have you remind her that we are servants of our chosen world, but it serves us as well. It is her name that is stabilising this alliance. It conveys power that should not be misdirected to matchmakers. From Lord Perrin de Rosier. Frankly, I'll be glad when the matter is settled. I've no desire to inconvenience the young Celeste beyond what name-sharing Lady Richelieu recommends. This has been a cock-up from head to tail. And from Jesson Leander, I pledge to the Inquisition. If my dearest Celeste is willing to sacrifice to ensure this alliance, then I can only do as much. My name may not be enough for some, but she will have my protection indirectly through service to you. This is, quite frankly, this is just sad. I think Aenor would be looking at these letters being like, what the hell is all this? So in case you can't remember, you know, Lady Celeste, she's getting married to this de Rosier guy. This is the head of the house. This is an older gentleman. This is a man old enough to be her father. Potentially even older than that. Did I say potential even older than that? Potentially even older than that. But he is someone who is many years her senior. Again, it's my throat, it's the tickle, it's throwing me off. He doesn't particularly care about marrying her. she doesn't want to marry him, but she's gonna do it. And then we have her once betrothed, who's trying to join the Inquisition because he can't marry her. This is just all really sad. I think Aenor would be looking at this being like, why are we trying to marry these two together? Like, what does it benefit us? Like, yeah, before Corypheus was dead, we were trying to make alliances in Orlais, but he's dead now. Like, what does it matter? Surely, like, I get that my advisors, they want the Inquisition to continue, but like, this is just sad. Josie says, this is a currency. The two youths could be marriage enough if other investments encouraged Lord de Rosier to withdraw. Liliana says, if you are set on the arranged pairing, Jess and Leander should be quietly escorted from the city. I would not wish him present. And Cullen says, do we truly need this? I suggest discreet manoeuvres in the free marches. A standard retinue, +2. Get the young couple out of range. We don't really need this now. Corypheus is dead. As far as Aenor is concerned, this is potentially one of the last things she'll sign off on as Inquisitor. And yes, the Inquisition will need allies in Orlais and but does this really matter? Is this arranged marriage that no one aside from the matchmaker actually seems to want? Celeste is upset. As he says, like, I have no desire to inconvenience the young Celeste beyond her sharing my name. So he's not interested in her. Like, this is just sad. I think if this is one of the last things she's going to do as Inquisitor, then let love win. Why not? There's no need to get them to elope. Just, if we can persuade Lord de Rosier that his investments are better off elsewhere, then, like, fuck it, let's do that.
Let us begin.
There we go. And you know what? Cullen.
Inquisitor.
Hello.
Inquisitor.
There we go. Alrighty then. Now then, before I forget, I believe that was an amulet of power for Vivienne. Yep, Vivienne only. Okie doke. Oh, and Solus is gone. Oh, that hurts. Oh dear. Take that. There we go. And there you are. We can upgrade her later. Now then, Josie. Josie.
Leliana knows the game. She'll move the Chantry forward while quelling the fears of the faithful. And I feel only pity for those who might try to depose our former spy master by force.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Liliana is going to be the next divine. Not the person Aenor would have chosen, but then again, it's none of her business who is going to sit upon the Sunburst throne, because she isn't Andrastian. Do you think she'll need the Inquisition's help at all?
Should the Inquisition offer Liliana its protection?
It'd be more imposition than useful, or misinterpreted as a struggle for power. It's best Liliana arrange things herself. After so much warring, even the most seasoned players of the game yearn for change. Sister Liliana will bring about interesting times.
Oh, that she will.
A fine day, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Okay, goodbye, Josie. Goodbye, it's been wonderful. It's been lovely. And Gatsy's gone.
We have to agree on the red one.
Well, yes. He was ordered around and left to rot.
He's an enemy commander. I can brook no mercy when the stakes are this high.
Once the sword's out of his hand, that changes things.
Not for long. Not if someone else could pick it up.
History makes a lot more sense if you were the type in charge.
They're talking about Samson, okay.
I feel a little nervous having the woman who commanded our spies on the Sunburst throne. Like if anybody recites the chant wrong, she'll have them shivved. I'm probably overreacting. But yeah, if you want to go out and find some trouble, I'm up for it.
Oh, Liliana wouldn't have you shivved for reciting the chant wrong. Well, this Liliana wouldn't. Hardened Liliana, though. Oof.
Still here. You need me for something?
Oh, I always need you, Varric. I always need you. You're one of my favourites. Now then, let's see. Giselle. Hello, Alan. There you are. Oh. Excuse me. I thought you left. Morgan. Morgan, why are you still here?
You have healed the sky and cast down a great darkness, Inquisitor. Whatever political squabbles follow your work, I hope you hold on to those facts. I know I will. Your worship.
Okay, that's all.
Farewell.
Make her go with you.
I think that political squabbles. Aenor doesn't have a head for politics. I think she feels very sorry for whoever, becomes Inquisitor after she leaves. She's just like, oh, there's going to be such mess once I'm gone. I don't envy whoever has to deal with that.
Wandering the gardens, I see.
Okay, nothing new here.
I'll leave you to the garden.
Until next time, then.
Okay, farewell, Morrigan. Whenever you do decide to leave, I hope you have safe journeys and all of that.
Your worship.
Hello there. And the one Solus never finished. Oh God, I have no words. I have no words. Let's go round. Look at all the eyes. Look at all of the eyes and the wolves. God, he inserts himself everywhere. The eyes around the Black City. Oh my goodness. Flipping heck. I think, like I said, Aenor is just so confused as to what is going on with Solus. Not just about the breakup, but also what he said at the end when he picked up his orb about, like, oh, it wasn't supposed to happen this way. And I know you're angry, but I hope in time you'll understand. Solus was clearly up to something. And she doesn't know what. He was clearly involved in something. And she had no idea. She never had any idea about that. And I don't know how she feels. I think to some degree she does feel a little bit used. Like, did you only get close to me because I was the Inquisitor? Like, what exactly were you doing? How real were our feelings for each other? Was it all a ruse? She's hurt. She's hurt, but again, it's not the end of the world. Solus wasn't the only romantic partner available to her.
Frightening thought. A divine with enough spies to know how often you piss. It will be difficult to return to Tevinter after all this. I have a good friend here. You don't find those just lying about. Such is my lot. Just a little longer, then.
Oh, just a little longer.
What's to come, I wonder? My guess, a plague of bees.
Oh, I'm so glad I got to throw bees at Prithius during that fight.
Greetings again, Inquisitor.
Nothing new with you.
I'll leave you to it.
Vivienne, oh, she has to have stuff to say about Liliana. She has to.
The Conclave made an interesting choice in Liliana. Inspired by something, no doubt. I would find the proceedings entertaining were it not going to create a mess I'll have to clean up.
Oof. Oh, yeah.
The Conclave made an interesting choice in Liliana. Inspired by something.
Okay, I'm sorry, Vivienne.
We'll speak some other time.
Oh my gosh, she actually thanked me for leaving her. Like, oh my god. I truly have won her respect. And you?
Look at all these books.
He's happy. He's living his best librarian life. And now on to the main woman herself.
I've been many things. Bard, sister, left hand. And always because someone needed something from me. But I realize now that I am all these things. And yet, not defined by any one. I am now Divine Victoria. But to my friends, to you, I will always be just Liliana.
Oh, girl, we'll miss ya.
Skyhold will feel empty without you.
Val Royeaux is not so far away, and I can always use advice from the Herald of Andraste. Not to worry, I'll be here for some time yet. There are still things to put in order before I leave.
Do you have a time frame on that?
Are you still my spy master? When will you need to leave?
The Grand Clerics would love to bury me in ceremony while they prepare for my coronation. But there is so much unfinished here. A new spy master to appoint. And perhaps I'm not quite ready yet. When the time is right, I shall go to the Grand Cathedral for good. They can't know what they're in for.
I wish you all the best, Leliana.
Anything else?
What can I do?
Okay, good stuff. So, personally, I think the best Divine is Vivienne. Because Vivienne brings change in the most sustainable way. Liliana brings immediate change. However, if the Divine who replaces her is someone who is like, oh yeah, she made a really terrible error, we should just go back to the circles, then all of her change could be immediately overturned. Vivienne brings change in a way that will make people go, oh, maybe mages are people like the rest of us. This mage who was divine, who didn't do any kind of blood magic, and she listened to our fears, and, you know, the circles are there, and all of this. Maybe mages aren't so bad. And that change is more likely to stick until we get to a point where mages can have the same freedom as everyone else. It'll take centuries. Maybe not centuries, but like decades to a century, maybe. If things go really, really well, but it will be sustainable change. Liliana, I think there's a pretty good chance that the next Divine would just revert all her changes back because it's going to be so chaotic. So I don't particularly like Liliana as Divine from a gameplay point, but I love it in terms of her story. I think Liliana ending up as Divine is really good for her. After everything she's been through, constantly serving other people, Marjolaine, Dorothea, because Dorothea used Liliana so much, we now have the ability to put her in a position where she can think for herself. She can do what she wants to do, and I love that. I absolutely love that for Liliana, even if I don't necessarily agree with how quick she's trying to change things. Oh, so close. So close, boo. You know what, I'm gonna take a minute, because here's the thing. Aenor and myself, we have very similar views on the circles. We both believe that the circles should still exist. And I just want to clarify something. Neither of us believe that mages should be imprisoned. Mages don't deserve freedom. Mages do deserve freedom. Everyone deserves freedom. However, freedom means dealing with consequences. And the consequences of just saying, you know what, there are no more circles, mages, go free, go forth into society, do what you do. The consequences of that are that hundreds of mages are going to be murdered. And countless more are going to be beaten to a pulp. Because the Chantry has spent centuries saying, yeah, mages are bad, mages are demons, they want to kill you, they want to kill your mum, they want to touch your kids, mages are evil, fuck them, yeah, it's your God-given right to put them in their place, fuck mages, fuck them so hard, yeah, you found out that your kid is a mage, yeah, abuse them, abuse the shit out of your kid because they're a mage, fuck them. Like, the Chantry has just spent so long telling people that mages are creatures that they should be afraid of. Not people, creatures to be feared. One person saying, oh yeah, mages are actually all right now, it's not going to change anyone's mind. All it's going to do is cause extreme confusion. Like, I've been told my entire life that I should be afraid of these people, and now one's moving next door to me. What if they touch my kids? What if they become a demon and they murder my mom? Oh God! When people get confused, they become angry or they become afraid. And when you are angry or afraid, it is so much easier to respond with violence. Vivienne has a really good line. The circles don't just protect Thedas from us. They protect us from Thedas, because the Chantry has preached hatred. To just disband the circles, it's going to cause so much bloodshed. An obscene amount of bloodshed. That's why it needs to be done slowly. Turn them into schools. Turn them into schools so that mages can spend half the year studying and learning, and then they can spend half the year at home forging those community ties. And, you know, people will say, like, oh, the miller's lad, like, he became a mage. He was so nice, and, like, he's back and he doesn't seem all that demony. Like, maybe this wasn't what we were told. And slowly but surely, people will learn not to fear. It'll take decades. It takes so long to deprogram a nation from the bullshit beliefs they have been fed for centuries. But it can be done. It can't be done by just snapping your fingers and saying, right, we're going to put the people that you are shit scared of and hate amongst you. All that's going to do is hurt the mages. Magic is dangerous. Mages are dangerous. But so is an angry mob. And Aenor believes the mages need to be protected from that whilst Thedas learns to do better. Same for me. It's just, like I said, when people are scared or angry, it's violence is gonna happen. Violence is gonna happen, and that's exactly what Liliana has guaranteed. By having no kind of real plan, people are gonna be angry. They've been told for centuries that these are people that they should hate. And now they're being told that apparently I don't have to hate them. What? That's confusing. The College of Enchanters, that's good. Like, what the mages are doing, how they formed their own kind of institute, that's really good. But it's too soon. It's too much too soon. And I do find it concerning. I'm like, oh God, what's going to happen to the mages? They're outnumbered 10-1. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Liliana is to be divine. It will be strange to see her go. Given her plans for the Chantry, the months to come will be interesting.
Yes, they will.
Yes?
Okay, nothing else there. Cowl, my boy. My adopted son. Show me your face. Show me your beautiful face.
Of course. I'm sorry, Cowl, but with your gift, I fear that you might see the path I now must walk in solitude forever. This fate is mine alone. Indeed, I would not wish it on an enemy, much less someone that I once cared for. Though you reach out in compassion, I must now insist that you forget. I'm... What were we talking about? I'm ready to help people when you are.
I love that. So that was Sola speaking through Cowl. I assume that Cowl had connected to him. And Sola sensed that. And he's just made Cowl forget how to connect to him. I love that.
There are still people who need help. I'm ready.
Oh, attaboy. Attaboy, I love you. I love you, my adopted son. You are my favourite. I just want to give him a hug.
True enough.
Hey.
If she's deciding to stick around, we might as well be polite.
Any problems?
As if. There's not much left we haven't punched in the face. I mean, we're in with Leliana, so we have no problems. It's the ones who piss her off who need to squirm. I'm staying, though. You find fun often enough. I'm not sure where else I'd be.
Oh god, why won't you leave?
Hello, yeah?
Aye. God, we're stuck with her. She's like a bad smell, she won't go. Anything? Okay, there we go. Yep, saving the world soon. Weird, I will kick Cariffy Tit in every ball he has. Scratched out. Sarah and Lady Aenor Llewellyn, Importius Fnord are big bloody heroes. A drawing of Sarah and Aenor raising bottles while riding a high dragon that breathes flaming sharks. Also, the dragon farted a cloud that looks like Corypheus. Finally, someone fun, I'll call her Whittle. A drawing of Sarah standing back to back with Dagna. Their weapons seem improbable and awesome. Dagna deserves better. Dagna deserves so much better. Alright, any gossip?
I told him just...
Tell her. It's only right.
Not yet. It's not the right time yet.
You're just stalling. We're ready.
Excuse you? Hello?
Inquisitor, you won. We all won. And I am honored I was part of it.
We all are. But with things winding down, Cullen's got more than enough troops.
It's time for us to go. We've eyes on a keep of our own. Starting a freehold. Maybe even titles. You know, rising up. Like you did. Just like you.
Oh. Oh, that's lovely.
You'll get that title and more. I knew it from the start.
We promise not to start any rival inquisitions.
Well, there goes the first week. Your worship, it's been an honor. It's been incredible.
My guys, yes, ow. I have so many feelings right now. I'm having a moment. Jesus. Good for them. I hope they're in Dreadwolf. They might not be because they can die pretty early on. Oh.
Your worship?
Do you have any ideas?
Can you think of any other tasks suitable for the judges?
Nothing jumps out at me. If I come up with any ideas, I'll let you know.
Okay, goodbye.
We'll talk later.
I love you, Crem. I wish you were a romance option. You have nothing to say, okay?
I hear your mages are looking to start a whole separate college of enchanters. Be interesting to see if they can avoid pissing everyone off this time. What's more important is there are still rifts out there spawning demons. I'm ready to kick some ass whenever you are.
Hey, nice. Anything else? Come on, excuse me.
I'm ready whenever you are, boss.
Okay, good stuff, Bull. Good stuff. And oh, hello there, Harding.
Going well, I hope?
Anything new?
What's been going on?
That strange boy came in with an armful of chickens. You're looking after him, right?
Yes, I am. He's my adopted son.
Take care.
Why did he have so many chickens? It's best not to ask questions. Don't ask that. It's fine.
Leliana is already turning the Chantry on its ear, and she hasn't yet been crowned divine. It's quite interesting to watch. I offered to remain as right hand, but she has other ideas. I wish her well, regardless. The Chantry needed someone like her.
It definitely needed change.
Hello, Inquisitor.
Hello there, Cassandra. And I believe the only person left to speak to is Blackwall.
Your worship.
Hello there. Oh, also you. Corypheus dead, Inquisition victorious. Let us celebrate. In a climactic battle beneath a torn sky, the Inquisitor achieved victory over the enemy, the Darkspawn Magister called Corypheus. The triumph cements the Inquisition's power within Thedas. The Inquisition, led by its Inquisitor, will direct the world's course in the days to come. I, for one, am eager to see where she takes us. For now, Thedas is safe. Tomorrow, however, is another story. Crier Belinus. There we are. Oh. Aenor's reading that and she's shaking her head like, I'm not guiding anything. Aenor, like I said, Aenor plans on leaving. Anything?
Inquisitor.
Okay then. As I keep saying, Aenor plans on leaving, not immediately. Obviously, it'd be rude to do that. Blackwall? Blackwall? Are you hiding? Upstairs, maybe? I'm not being funny, right? Like, he's not here. Maybe he's outside? Blackwall? Dennett and the horses have gone too. What the shit? Maybe he's gone off to do his own thing. I mean, that's fair. Also, apparently we can hear Meriden singing from all the way over here. Hot damn, she has some lungs on her. Okay, I guess Blackwall has wandered off then. Good for him. But yes, as I was saying, Aenor, she's not gonna leave immediately. They do still need her. They, require, people want to come and speak to her and all of that. So I think she's thinking, like, I'll give it a couple of months, but, she is planning to be back in Wycombe around, maybe 6 months from now. That's kind of her thing, like, I'll give it half a year. And then I'll be away. That's kind of her plan. Just so that way, they can find a replacement Inquisitor and this, that, and the other. Now then, before we leave, Codex entries. Because I am out of time for this episode. It should be right there at the bottom. Yes. After the defeat of Corypheus and the sealing of the breach, the Chantry chose Liliana to be the new Divine. Divine Victoria, as she will be named, will oversee the birth of a new Chantry. One that she hopes will unite all the people of Thedas. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you, girl. Solus. Inquisitor. Despite my efforts, I have been unable to locate Solus. From the site of your battle with Corypheus, he was last seen headed west, still distraught over the destruction of the orb Corypheus carried. From there, he disappeared, evading my people so easily and so completely that I am forced to wonder how much he knew about them. When Solus initially approached the Inquisition and offered aid, I questioned him extensively about his background and history. He was evasive, but he did give the name of the village where he grew up, noting that it was small, unlikely to appear on any map. I hate loose ends, so I kept a few of my agents searching to verify his story. They recently located the village, or what remains of it. It is a ruin, as it has been for centuries, its name preserved only in degraded form in ancient Tevinter mysteries. Whoever Solus truly is, wherever he came from, he has deceived us from the very start. I apologize for not investigating this more thoroughly while Solus was here. He was clearly helping us, and other matters were of greater urgency, but it was an oversight nevertheless. Given how little he shared with us, it is not clear what his plans are, if any, but I will continue to search. Liliana, oh God. She just has so many questions. So many questions. I think potentially this is why she said, I'll give it 6 months, rather than like, oh, I'll give it a month. I'll give it a month, I'll give it a 2 months. I think just the, like, from the get-go, he was lying. Like, is his name even Solus? Is he even who he said he was? Was any of it true? Did I fall in love with a fake person, essentially? Was I catfished in the most major way? It sticks. It sticks into her skin. like a thorn, and she can't remove it. And potentially those questions, and, you know, I think it would have crossed her mind with the Inquisition, I can get answers to those questions easier. In Wycombe, I have no resources. Here, I do at least have some resources. I can potentially find the answers to the questions I seek if I stay here, which is maybe why she said 6 months. I'll give it 6 months instead of anything shorter. Let's see. Oh, hello. Old Elven writing. This Elven writing found in the Arbor Wilds is so old as to be incomprehensible. Unreadable Elven writing. Veilfire writing from a ruin in the Arbor Wilds. The script is so ancient it defies translation. If we had drunk from the well, we would have been able to read this. Doom upon all the world. And so is the Golden City blackened with each step you take in my hall. Marvel at perfection, for it is fleeting. You have brought sin to heaven and doom upon all the world. Canticle of Threnodies, 8:13. There is very little of the infamous 13th verse that we can take literally. It speaks in the voice of the Maker himself. Since he has never deigned to speak to his children directly, we can rest assured it is a work of fiction. There are facts, however, which support it at least in part. Records remain from the time prior to the First Blight saying that, yes, 7 Magisters did open a portal to enter the Fade physically. These 7, whose true names we have lost either to legend or deliberate obscurement, did so at the behest of the old gods who whispered from their ancient prisons. We also know that the Golden City, visible from every part of the Fade by any mage at the time, turned black as night the moment these 7 breached its gates. Everything else, the accusations of sin, the suggestion that these 7 became the first Darkspawn, that they were directly responsible for the blights to come, all of that is conjecture. From questioning the chant by Magister Vibius Agorian, we have more. What am I missing? The Mason's Tales, Freed Our Slaves. I think this one is called Freed Our Slaves, which is exactly the kind of saying words but meaning different things I expect from a Tevinter. There's lies in the carving too, but I'll come back to that. Subject aside, I like this. It's workmanlike, but in a good dwarven way. It repeats because the carver knows what she's good at, so she does it again and again. Makes me think she has more than a passing knowledge of the stone. That said, there's 2 sets of hands involved. One old, one new. Take this Magister. He's glowing because he's fresh, newer. Same with his trophies flanking him. Carved down from more complex figures. And the flat next to them seems plain, doesn't it? The bottom is filled with detail, but this is left an open field? No, that's just what it is now, but there's shadows for a clever eye. So what was here if not this handsome Magister wanting his cod stuffed? Someone else instead of him and his friends, and 2 more figures on each side, 7 total. Only the top was changed. The Kunari haven't been touched. That's old wear down there. When it was first done, and hundreds of years later, yoked Kunari prisoners still fit. I don't suppose it's for the same reasons. I can only say the what, not the why. I can guess that someone wanted to be a Tevinter hero and paid to have their face carved on an antiquity. I mean, that's a crime against the ancestors where I'm from, but I don't expect Tevinters to obey dwarven honour. Or their own, really. They've been at war a long time, so I understand wanting to seem big. Orzamar's the same with the Darkspawn, unfortunately. Still, shame to lose the original. Not for the 7, for the carver. Good work, this. High praise indeed. Places. The Arbor Wilds. Wait a minute. No, I was going to say, have we read this? We haven't. Cruxis. For once, look to the elves for guidance. The Dalish shun the Arbor Wilds. When the people who would start a war over a single crumbling wall ignore a large elven ruin to the south, it bodes disaster. There is beauty and curiosity in the forest, such as trees that rise tall as towers, but those who travel too deep into them never return. You asked if I could identify the elven architecture from the few existing sketches of the outer ruins. They have curious similarities to stonework found in Arlathan, so I would guess it is likely an old elven temple dating to 300 years before the Imperium. Anything else is conjecture that I fear will spurn you on the... Let's try that again. Anything else is conjecture that I fear will spurn you on in this folly. Letters from a scholar of the Tevinter Imperium to Magister Cruxis, a mage of high standing who led a doomed expedition into the Arbor Wilds a year afterwards. Oh dear, of course he did. Of course he did. And the Temple of Mythal. Once again, Genitivy is completely at odds with reality. Ancient elven temples were no simple shrines. Extensive digging shows that buildings radiated out of a main edifice, much like a city wrapped around a palace. Indeed, these temple complexes must have been cities once, with a veritable army of functionaries running them. Each cult had different rituals, ablutions and prayers to their chosen patron that ran all hours of the day. The time and effort devoted to them must have been staggering. Perhaps it's best we have lost knowledge of these pagan rites. The deities that the old elves worshipped, if they existed at all, were clearly demons masquerading as higher powers. One shudders to think of what went on before their thrones. From an essay by Atronus of Antiva, scholar and naturalist to the Antivan royal court. Lovely. Now actually, before I sign off, I was thinking about this because there was some discourse on the episode where Aenor removed her Valisleen, because I think either option is good, depending on the character, removing your Valisleen or keeping it. I think keeping it could have made a lot of sense for Aenor, considering she is like, oh, who cares about the past, blah, blah, blah. At the time, in the comments, I said that I kind of liked the little bit of hypocrisy there. Oh, I don't care about the past. Who cares about old elven stuff? Wait, what? They're slave markings. Get them off my face. After thinking about it, I don't necessarily think she did it because of hypocrisy. Maybe a little bit, but not mainly. Because I got to thinking, what would my Dalish warden do? My Mahariel, Rosanna Mahariel. I played through all of the origin stories earlier. If you are in the market for, I just want to watch the origin stories and a little bit of role-playing, then, they are available on my channel for your perusal whenever you may or may not wish to watch them. If you are new to the channel, if you've never heard of this character, Rosanna is exactly the type of Dalish to make a city elf feel bad for being a city elf. She was not a nice person. Like, her entire personality was, the Dalish are the true elves. All other elves, they aren't elves. City elves, oh, I'm being nice by referring to them as city elves because they're flat ears. They're basically human. They don't know hardship. They've never suffered a goddamn day in their life. They sit in their ivory towers singing Kumbaya with the humans. Fuck them. And any city elves who see the light and join the Dalish will teach them like children, because that's all they ever will be. They will always just be children in comparison to true Dalish. Like, she was a horrible person. I loved her. She was awful. Terrible, just terrible. And if she was in Aenor's place, what would she have done? If Solus had said, hey, the Valisleen, it's slave markings, I can remove them. And I realised she would have kept them. Absolutely, she would have kept them. And I've realised now, it kind of hit me why Aenor has them removed. Because that often happens to me. I don't know for anyone else who roleplays characters, but they make this decision, even if you don't know why. It just calls to you. It's like, they would do this. They would not do this other thing. They would do this specific thing. I just can't explain why. I figured it out. I figured out why Aenor removes her Valisleen. It's because if you were to ask her, what are you? She would say, I am an elf. If you were to ask Rosanna, what are you? She would say, I am Dalish. Rosanna, she connects with her Dalish heritage. It is everything she is. And she is all about like, oh yeah, let's rebuild the Elven Empire and all this, that, and the other. But she prioritizes Dalish stuff first. So all of the stories about like, oh yeah, Fen'Harel locked the gods away and we did nothing at Red Crossing, and it, like, documents at the time saying that the elves were guilty, fuck that, burn it. It's bullshit. The Dalish are correct. The Dalish are correct about everything. She is all about being Dalish. Whereas Aenor, she is Dalish. She doesn't believe that she isn't Dalish for a second, and she loves her people. However, growing up, she always felt like an outsider in her clan because her mum was a city elf. And growing up, she always kind of felt that, you know, there was this view of like, oh yeah, of course you didn't get that. You're a city elf. You're half city elf. So, like, yeah, you were never going to be any good at that. Like, of course you wouldn't be able to use a bow like the rest of us. And I do think that she kind of feels like, did you send me to the Conclave because you thought I was the best for the job? Or did you send me because I was the most expendable member of the clan because I'm not a full Dalish? She's always kind of felt she is neither city elf nor Dalish. She is just an elf. At the end of the day, that's what she identifies with. And as such, when she discovers, like, okay, the thing about Red Crossing, what Abelas said about, like, oh, Mythal was murdered, and here we have the origin stories of all of these different myths, she's inclined to go with the old interpretation. She feels more at home with that than she does with all of the stuff the Dalish have said. It just kind of hit me. It hit me as I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. But yeah, I just find that interesting. Okie doke. I've gone really over time for this episode. I hope you don't mind. I hope you enjoyed my prattling. In the next one, we get started on the Descent. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.